Later this week, Operation Monarch is going to begin, the big part of what we've seen already marketed for Warzone and Vanguard Season 3 thus far. But what can you expect to see with this update coming? What kind of event, rewards, changes in-game, and such will be unfolding here in the next few days? Today, we're breaking down all of that, so as we go along, drop your thoughts down below on what you'd like to see here in Operation Monarch, if anything in particular at all. As well, if you enjoy the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on the video, and as well, if you're new to the channel, do be sure that subscribe button is stay there with all things Warzone, especially with a major event happening here this week, and maybe even some Modern Warfare 2 stuff here in the near future as well. So if you guys are at all interested, I'd love to have you in the community. And finally, with a new weapon of the UGR introduced a couple of days ago, the new Godzilla outfit with the ultra-level STG blueprint getting us ready for Operation Monarch, and any other items in the in-game shop that may stand out to you. If you'd like to support the channel a little further, code Espresso in the Support a Creator function is a great yet entirely optional way to do so. Do not ever feel pressured to, but if you ever do, tweet me a picture. I'd love to shout out some of your generous support in upcoming videos. But said, let's jump into it. So today, out of this sort of Operation Monarch preview that we can talk about, this comes from our pre-Season 3 briefing with some of the Raven top brass. About a day or two before Season 3 launched, content creators and some press had a chance to sit down and talk with Ted Timmons, Senior Creative Director at Raven Software, and JJ Williams, Associate Creative Director at Raven. During this chat, we learned a little bit about what was upcoming for Season 3, the new Operation Monarch, which we're talking about here today, and a little bit of what is beyond with Season 3.5 and Season 4 for quality of life and other major changes coming to Warzone. That stuff we'll cover at a later point, but today with Operation Monarch, let's just start at the beginning. Now, one thing that they did not disclose, and is something that we just may be able to deduce a little bit, is there's likely not going to be any actual download necessary here at this. We won't likely need to see a title update here, so that come the 11th, you won't have to download another 10 gigabytes of data or something. You're likely going to only have just that playlist update. Though, don't quote me on that because it isn't anything that is confirmed just yet. That title update, I would imagine here, as we'll talk about in just a second, is likely to be coming at the tail end of Operation Monarch, not the beginning. But with Operation Monarch, we'll firstly see a new content stream here at this. Just like the numerous events of the past, we'll likely have that landing page, which will then showcase a bit of what we can do, the cosmetics and thematic items in the game, plus an event stream that you'll be able to earn items via challenges organically in-game. They detailed that this will be something that has 8 challenges with a blueprint reward at the end. So if we were to see how this is breaking up as of the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, we're likely going to have 4 of those being for Vanguard, 4 of those being for Warzone, and completing either 4 of those, not mixing and matching to Warzone to Vanguard, but 4 of either Warzone or 4 of Vanguard, giving you that blueprint reward at the end. Now, there's no details just yet if we'll see anything like a community challenge type event like we saw with the Rebirth Resurgence event, though I'm somewhat doubtful that we'll see that, given that right now, it only looks like Operation Monarch will last 2 weeks here, given the trajectory of what we've already seen with the event, and when we'll have to see this mid-season update begin. With 44 days and a few hours and change left on the season as of today, we're likely going to need to see that mid-season event close out the event and reset everything, i.e. on the 25th of May, when the event ends, we're likely going to see a title update to come along with that. But aside from cosmetics and things like that, some of which has already been introduced into the game to get us ready for the Operation Monarch event, i.e. that Godzilla Tracer Pack, the main focal point will be in-game for Warzone and the new Operation Monarch LTM. Now, this was detailed that we'll see this last for 2 weeks overall, and it'll be a 60-player BR match, but with a pretty big twist, or multiple twists rather. Firstly, it'll be a resurgence type mode, so you can come back so long as that some of your teammates are still up. And secondly, it will have power grab rule sets, meaning that you'll have these power-ups you can end up getting out of crates, off of dead players, and things like that, that will adjust your overall gameplay itself, fundamentally speaking. Now, of course, the big thing here that we've already seen showcased in trailers and already seen marketed is that we will have these new Titans actually active in-game. Narratively, they're there to destroy the Nebula 5 production. They're there to stop that. That's kind of awoken them here and brought them to the surface, and Operation Monarch follows this agency, Monarch, that's studying the Titans themselves. Now, this is going to be something you have to battle with yourself, but also against Titans. There's going to be a new feature called the Power Grab Meter, which will be to the right of your UI, and that's driven by what is called Monarch Intel. That intel is then received by kills, crates, contracts, and more. So every time you end up getting intel received, you get overdrive, faster movement, health and armor adjustments, but no ammo replenishing like you've seen in other game modes here within Warzone. That's something that they straight up said that broke the game. So we'll see that you want to collect that intel for a numerous number of reasons, but that is a big one because it alters your actual gameplay state. Now, they mentioned that each game here with this, there's going to be a new Titan Frenzy public event in which there's going to be a malfunctioning scream device which angers the Titans. So players are then meant to push the Titans back here at this, with the top 4 squads rewarded with loot in doing so. The top squad itself, though, that does the most damage, that ends up killing these Titans, receives a Monarch device, a way for players to control the Titan to attack any given area here with this that they can designate with it. Kind of like that Nebula 5 bomb, but on steroids. So this is going to be something that is available by completing that Titan Frenzy event, being that top team in it, or if you end up completing that power grab meter, getting it to 100%, which is the equivalent of 100 intel items. There's multiple experiences per game that you can end up having with these Titan attacks, so it's going to be something that is pretty grand scale and you might want to be aware of. Now, as for these Titan attacks that you can end up either commanding or you end up coming across yourself, Kong will end up doing this ground pound thing where he'll smack the ground in a massive circumference. There'll be that damage zone, and he'll also throw a boulder at an area. This will put players into last stand, but not instantly kill you all. That is, assuming all of your squad doesn't go down at once. Godzilla, on the other hand, he has his heat ray, in which it destroys you no matter what in a sort of Tron bike of fire, with that fire trail even lasting after the attack is done for quite some time, and it's described as a more deadly version of the Molotov. Now, to end up getting access to these attacks, again, you either want to complete that Titan Frenzy event or the intel drops. But let's just say you haven't found too many intel drops and you're a little bit lagging behind. If that's the case, you'll end up seeing in-game there are these events that drop intel drops, the sort of cash-style loot drops that will then offer 30 per crate. Massive boost to help you out, but they're incredibly high risk and high reward, obviously because you can end up doing so much damage by getting one of those Monarch devices. Now, we'll also see throughout this vehicle drops and heavy weapon drops that happen twice per match, and also when you take part in this event itself, the LTM, you take down some of these Titans and everything, there are the possibility of getting 4 organic account rewards, 2 charms and 2 calling cards for completing those things in-game with the Titan Frenzies. Now, all in all, that is something that is a lot to digest and something that greatly changes the fundamental play that we'll see here in Caldera. Though, if you're somebody that doesn't want to anger the Titans, it's something that you can actually do. You can play this a little bit passively. Kong and Godzilla will react in regular matches, but will leave you alone if you don't mess with them. So kind of like a don't poke the bear situation. Now, interestingly, it seems like this also will be coming over into regular Caldera as well, is the high value loot zones, in which, just like how we saw in the Season 2 sort of mini-map here and that main menu designation for Warzone, we had those circular icons that denoted new hatches. You could go underground and find these bunkers. Now, this is something that this season we have in different locations, major red circles, and that's something that I'm imagining these are going to be those high value loot zones, but this is something that looks to be a little bit more randomized per match. But in the infill sequences, it's there to incentivize different drop locations than you may normally go to. On the TAC map, you'll see this denoted in its own legend, plus $ icons on the TAC map and minimap to help you quickly identify those. These will have higher level loot, but also the rebirth restocked crates, meaning they'll come back after certain times, making late game regains actually incredibly worthwhile, because you could still be well into a game but come back and there's still an entire area that may be, air quote, untouched because they all restocked. So a huge change here at that, making this something that may be worthwhile investigating here if you end up playing regular BR or even this LTM. Very curious to see how this will play out and what it can do for the overall gameplay experience. Now, finally, what I want to talk about here to get you ready for this is they did mention explicitly Easter eggs. And this looks like there's going to be sort of multi-levels here to this, in which they stated firstly that there's going to be fun audio logs about the scientists of Monarch, the studying and the doing, kind of tying in Godzilla and Kong narratively into the story we're seeing shape up now within Vanguard, which canonically is very weird. I mean, we now have these task forces in the same universe as Black Ops, as well as the new Modern Warfare universes, and Godzilla versus Kong is there. I mean, either way, it's interesting, but we'll see those audio logs that you can find and activate throughout the world. Though right now it is curious, there is no word on if there's an actual like blueprint reward just yet. They did state, however, that there is a legendary pictures Easter egg, which at first glance might not seem like much. Okay, you're looking at pictures of Godzilla versus Kong, maybe you get some legendary loot out of it. But actually, what I think that is an actual reveal for either a sequel or some other project within the MonsterVerse relating to Godzilla vs. Kong. Legendary Pictures being that production studio that has handled the MonsterVerse thus far. So that's what I think is the cool big reveal here out of this. If we get a blueprint reward outside of that, I'm also very cool with it. But that is Operation Monarch in a nutshell. That's everything that we're going to be seeing here as of later this week. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to a change in pace for what we see with Warzone and this new LTM, which does sound pretty fascinating, but I'd love to get your take on it. So drop your thoughts down below. What do you guys think here of this upcoming Operation Monarch event? Are you looking forward to it? Maybe not so much. Whatever the case, drop your thoughts. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. As well, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Warzone, Operation Monarch, Modern Warfare 2 content here coming up very soon. Whatever the case, I'd love to have you in the community if you'd like to say the date. But that said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.